Hello students, welcome back to the class. So this is Engineering Geology and Management class, and till now what we have studied is that what is the need of studying the engineering geology, and we have studied what is the importance of engineering geology and what is the mainly important for as a civil engineering field, and we saw what are the branches of geology, right, and what is weathering. We saw chemical weathering and physical weathering. We saw erosion and what are the types of erosion and what are the process of erosion, and we saw what are the soil formation and profile. Okay, types in India is that mainly it is having a red soil. You can see this is a red soil, it is widely found. The next one, it is a black soil, it will be black in color, it is red in color, and it is having the black cotton soil. What are the properties we will see? An alluvial soil, mostly alluvial soil is found in Indo-Gangetic plains, right? This is an alluvial soil, and this is the laterite soil. Laterite soil is of different colors will be, but it has a standard property. It will shrink a lot and it will expand a lot, and we will see other miscellaneous types of soil. First we will see what is a red soil. So what is a red soil is that have been formed due to the decomposition of ancient crystalline rocks, and these rocks will be rich in iron and magnesium. Okay, so these are the things, and the color is due to the presence of iron oxide, ferrous oxide or ferric oxide. Iron oxide is present in the soil, which will give you this red color, right? This red color is due to the presence of this iron oxide. It is because of the color it is called as the red soil. Okay, but it is having a poor nitrogen, phosphorus, and it is rich in potassium, right? So the nutrients that is there for the plant, it has a potassium nutrient there more rather than the nitrogen and the phosphorus. Okay, so where are the places in India this soil is found in abundance is that it is found in Chennai, Mysore, right, Madhya Pradesh, Mumbai, Hyderabad and Orissa, right. So the next type we will see is the black cotton soil or the black soil. It is also called as the Regu soil. Okay, it is called as the Regu soil. Olden days it is called as the Regu soil, but again the name black cotton came into existence, so we are calling it as the black cotton soil. Okay, so these soils are derived from the basic igneous rocks, and it is having the presence of titanium, iron, and some organic compounds will be present, which is finely dispersed in this black cotton soil. Due to the presence of the titanium oxide and due to the overpresence of the iron, this color is the black in color, but it is having also high calcium and magnesium content. Okay, what is the main thing of this soil is that it will be sticky when there is a moisture content is much more. Okay, they become exceedingly sticky when wet and expands on drying. So it shrinks and expands a lot. So we can see a black cotton soil very well in our places, so many places where there will be black color in there. It will be there in the irrigation field. It will shrink and also it will expand. Peat is also one type of soil of black cotton origin, but it has different, little bit different properties, right, in the percentage of the materials present. So it is wherever it is available is that Mumbai, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat it is available, right, and it is mostly in the Narmada, Krishna and Godavari rivers. This black cotton soil is available in the plenty. Okay, so what is the another thing is that it is having two types. One is the shallow types and the deep types, and the black cotton soils has been found quite troublesome from engineering point of view. Why it is quite troublesome? Okay, so for example, if I am going for a building, okay, so I am having a foundation here, right? If the soil is of black cotton soil, what will happen? It will shrink in the summer season. It will expand in the winter season. Due to the shrinkage and expansion, what happens? There will be a movement of this foundation, movement of the soil layer, which will make the soil weak and the building will have a crack formation. So it is not as engineering means not as an engineering. Particularly I am telling it as in the civil engineering point of view. Okay, but it is usually used to have grown for small buildings even the banana plantain, everything that we can use this. It can sustain water and it will be sticky for a long time. So the next one, the two types we see is the red soil and laterite soil. Next we will see about the alluvial soil. The alluvial is mostly in the Indo-Gangetic plain, the river surface of the Indo-Gangetic plain. So it is of different colors, right? It may be even of this light brown or light green or red color also it is there. Light brown, light green, or even the red color alluvial, laterite soil, alluvial soil is present, right? So mostly it is present in the Ganges, Brahmaputra and the Indus river basins. Okay, so the weathering produced from the mountains are carried down and deposited in the foot plains and deltaic regions of this system. Whereas the delta is there now, when the rivers all form and it will be drained into the sea. So along this delta regions, okay, we will have this type of soil in plenty. Okay, so the next one, it is the laterite soil. Laterite soil is the composed of hydrated oxides of aluminum and iron. It is due to the decay of many rocks, right? It is formed due to the decay of many rocks, and actually this soil is due to the loss of silica from soil profile developed in humid regions where the process of leaching is widespread. Yesterday we have seen about the process of leaching and we saw what is the A, B, C, D, 4 horizons, and due to the leaching how the properties texture will change, the soil formation will change. So this is one of the soil that is mainly affected due to the leaching of different layers of soil. Okay, actually this soil is well developed in India and also found in the coastal regions of Chennai, Mumbai and Maharashtra. It is found there. Okay, if I am going to take Chennai, the areas around the Chennai, in and around Chennai. Okay, so if you have to find out very detail about this, you can even go in for the study of the soil formation in India, right? That map is there, and we will see some miscellaneous soils, right? The forest and hill soil. So here it is one of the forest and hill soils. It is there in the hilly regions due to the movement of the water and other things. This types of soil is formed. This is called as forest and hill regions. This is a desert, right? So the sand layer, mostly it is in the desert that is forming. The next one, the saline and alkali soil is having also a base content, a salt. More alkaline salt is there. The alkaline salt, one is calcium carbonate or lime. So it is rich in calcarite. So this is white in color, right? This is the saline of the alkaline soils. Then peaty soils, peat soils. We call it as a peat soils. It is one of the, as I told you, it is a black soil type. And this is a peat soil. Mostly it is in the irrigation ground. We have this peat soils, right? And the next one, it is a marshy soil. In the marshy soil, it is a very extensive expansion and extensive shrinkage will be there in the marshy soil, and marshy plants, right? Like that of a grass, everything that is grown there. Okay, it is of a short term plants. Okay, now we will see what are the natural agents. Yesterday I told you what are the natural agents. Can you remember? One is running water, glaciers, wind, sea waves, current and groundwater. Today this class we will see about the running water, and the subsequent classes we will be seeing about the other thing, right? Okay, so first we will see about the running water. So what is the running water and what is the main important is that it is the geological agent that modifies the surface morphology. It is the that is the, yesterday we saw due to the running water, that is the rainfall will fall on the ground. Okay, the rainfall falls on the ground. Okay, some will infiltrate into the soil. The other parts will flow, right, as a runoff. This runoff will go and add into the streams or the rivers nearby. That streams and rivers we contribute as the running waters. Okay, now you understand the running waters, mainly the streams and rivers or water, it is having different types. But okay, but the main thing is the running water. Overall we call it as the small surface water body, we call it as the streams, and the large, that is the number of streams will be there here and there. Okay, this will be a river. Okay, so the streams will come and join in the river, right? Okay, the streams will come and join in the river. Okay, so this is the streams and the river, and the rivers are always originated in the mountainous regions that we call it as the head regions. Okay. For example, if I am going to take the Kaveri river, it is starting from a place called Head Kaveri, right? We call it as the Head Kaveri, but this Head Kaveri is there in the Tamil Nadu, but from Head Kaveri, the river flows through Karnataka and again it enters into the Tamil Nadu. That is the main thing about this Kaveri river. Okay, so the main thing is the Head Kaveri. Then the next one, it is the mouth. What is the mouth? Is that where this river goes and merges into the sea, that part we call it as the mouth, right? So normally from a mountain, okay, the river originates and it will flow through so many cities, mountains, to take like this, so many, path it will take, it will go to Europe and at last it will go and reaches the sea. That is called as the mouth, right? The part where it will go and reach the sea, merges with the sea, we call it as the mouth. So here what are the four things that we saw? One is the streams. Stream is the shallow water bodies. Then all the streams go and join with the rivers. The rivers originally originated from a mountain called as the head, and from that it will run through the plains, mountains, hills, everywhere, through the many cities, villages, everywhere, and at last it will reach the sea. That part we call it as the mouth, right? Head region and the mouth region. And we have, based on the river, we have three stages. That is, one is the young stage, mature stage, and the old stage. So in the young stage, what happens? The rivers will be very fast, right? Very fast. It has a very roaring sound, and the pressure of the river will be very high. Okay, so the pressure are they acquiring lot of energy, and it is capable of cutting down the hardest part and making its base and sides. Okay, so this will be forming the V-shaped valley, gorges and canyons are formed due to this the young river flows, right? It is having that is very energetic and very pressure, and it is flowing very fast. Okay, so the second one, it is the mature river. The speed and velocity of the flow is reduced compared to the young stage. Okay, so it has already some load to carry down and its capacity to cut virtually is gone. So what will happen? Okay, so the change in the course will take place. Okay, for example, if the river is going like this, it will be at the time from the mountains to the valley, that is the plains. It will have a very high force. We call it as a young stage. That is not actually, I am giving you an example. After going through this, what will happen? It will go through the plains like this, and some places it has to take a deep cut and go long. At that places, this place we call it as a mature zone. And after some times, this rivers go and meanders, and it will go into the stage where it goes to the very flat and up and downs and other things, where the rivers get very slow, the part where it reaches the ocean. So there the water content will be very less compared to the water content that is in the starting stage. So that we call it as a old stage. So the main thing is that the geological work of streams is to erode the valleys, transport the material which eroded and deposit the same in lower reach of the favorable sites. These are the three stages, but all the three stages is confined to the transportation of the materials. Okay, so that is the main thing. That is one of the natural erosion or natural action, weathering action. What are the action that is taken place because of this erosion is that the stream erosion, or we call it as a river erosion. It is performed in four parts. One is chemical action, hydraulic action, abrasion and attrition. We will see one by one. Chemical action, as I told you, water itself is having a very high solving particle, so it is acts as a solvent, and chemical action of water or country rocks. So the chemical decay works along the cracks and joints and thus help in breaking the bed rocks. Yesterday we saw how the water is, impact on the rocks, and it splits the rocks into pieces in the weathering action. Similar action will take place due to the organisms, due to the acid and other things. The second one, it is a hydraulic action, is the physical action. Due to its force and it is the amount it is falling on the rocks, it will break into the different places. It will, otherwise we can say that it acts as a hammer, right? Okay. So the next one, it is the abrasion. Abrasion is nothing but that is two surface that is moving with one another. We call it as the abrasion. Okay. So this abrasion will take place within the two particles, that is the water that is moving like this. The rock particles will be there due to the movement of this part. We call it abrasing. Then we call it as the stucking to one another. Okay, water and the rock bodies will stuck into one another. That we call it as the abrasion. Okay, so the scratching will take place, and due to the scratching again and again, the rocks will be broken into pieces. What is attrition is that attrition is due to collision. Collision means one particle is there, another particles come and come and collide in it, or come and get into action in it with a heavy force. We call it as the collisions, right? So it is under very high impact, right? So that we call it as the attrition. So what are the four things that what are the four actions by which the rocks are formed? Is chemical actions due to the microorganisms, alkalis, acid, everything. Hydraulic action due to the pressure of water. Physical, chemical, next is abrasion due to the striking against each other, one surface against each other, or attrition, colliding of one particles to another particles. The next we will see about the features of the running water erosion. So continuous erosion by running water produces many surface features. So what are the features is that one is the river valleys, right? So the next one is the gorge, canyon, V-shaped valleys, potholes, waterfalls, terraces, and meanders, oxbow lakes, alluvial fans, cones, floodplains, natural leaves, deltas. We will see one by one in detail. Okay, they will be asking separately what it mean by meanders in the separate 2-mark questions like that, or write short notes of deltas they can ask in a separate one. But as a whole, if they ask about the features of the earth, that is the rocks due to the erosion of water, you have to write about all the things with the wherever the diagram is possible. Okay, so the first one we will see about the river valley. So okay, you can see this is a river valley. Okay, so here you can see this water that is flowing along the mountains. This is a valley, right? These are two mountains, the joining part of the valley. This is, we call it as the valley. The river flows through the valley. So what will happen? The formation, due to this water, the valley is formed and the rocks are broken down. It is born and it is brought to the next place and it will be settled there. Okay, from the mountains it will brought to the valleys and it will be settled there. But that we call it as the river valley, right? Okay, so actually the process of valley deepening often gives a magnificence of the surface with features like gorges and canyons. Okay, so the next one, it is a gorge. This is a very deep valley, right? Okay, we call it as a very deep valley as a we call this very deep valley, we call it as a gorge, right? So the valley itself, due to the impact of water at a high force, this gorge is formed. Okay, the next one, it is a canyon. Canyon is a specific type of gorge where it is cut down by a river, essentially stratified and horizontal in altitude, right? It will be very perfect and it will have very good stratified soil rocks. We call it as the thing. All of you know Colorado River. Colorado River is there in California, which is a very good example for this rock formation, and it is that is Colorado rocks that are very famous, world famous, right? Okay, so it will have width. The width is actually the depth is around 900 to 1800, and the width of the river is 60 to 90 meters. That much deep it will be formed. That is due to this water. Okay, the next one, it is a V-shaped valley, right? It is also a valley only, but we can see the exact V shape will be there. But the ordinary valley, what we saw there, this is not necessary to be a V shape, but here it forms a V-shaped valley. Where we have a V-shaped valley means uniform, that is the erosion of the materials. Uniform erosion or uniform flow of the water is there now. We get a V-shaped valley, right? Okay, so it is usually formed in the mountains and hills bottom, and also it is in the upper coast. Okay, so they are so called because they are very steep sides. Okay, it is having a very steep side. It is looking like a V shape. We call it as a V shape, and it carries the stones and the rocks in the water, and it is deposited in the bottom. You can see here it carries the stones and it is mostly deposited. And as the river flows like this now, it will take this stones and rivers and it will deposit in another place. That is the formation of the sedimentary rocks. That is one hint I am giving, right? Okay. So the next one, it is the portholes. So portholes is nothing but due to the river that is the water flowing now, what will happen? There will be eddies that will be formed in the rivers. You know, there will be eddies where some people even they will catch up and they will not able to come out, right? Like that of eddies will form. This eddies will be even formed in the bedrocks. Okay, what will happen due to this? A pothole will be formed in the bottom, right? So the river uniformly flowing, due to this eddies, this flow of river will be like this, and it will be like this now, so that this potholes will be formed due to this eddies. Okay, you understand? So these are the one of the shown here. You can even see it from the top also, some potholes like this. Okay, due to the eddy currents it is formed. So it is one. The next one we saw, it is the waterfalls. So all of you know the waterfalls. Everyone enjoys even taking a bath in the waterfalls, right? So this is the hard rock will be there. The water will be moving, and it will be at a very high regions. It will be in a very high pressure. So what happens, to a very high distance, it is a high altitude, it is falling, it will erode this rocks. Day by day it will erode the rocks. Mostly the top layer rocks will be very hard, the bottom will be soft, so it will be automatically carried away and it will be settled somewhere. That is the weathering part. So it is one of the Adirapalli falls that is there in Kerala. Okay. So then the next one we will see about the terraces. Terraces is that, what is terrace? Terrace gardens we have seen, terrace we have seen. It is nothing but a step-by-step formation. So due to the river also we have a step-by-step formation. We call it as the this terraces. Okay, there will be the flow is such that the river flow is such that it forms terraces. It is a step-by-step. That is the step-by-step of hard rocks or the soft rocks formation. This is one of the thing you can see, that is one step is there, here one step is there, then the valley is coming. So like that, the step-by-step formation, we call it as the terraces. The next one, it is a meandering. Meandering is the process by which this is a water takes a route, right? So the waters come here, it is having, it can go like this, but it will take a route like this, it will go like this. So much of concave and convex places will be there, and the force will be there. When it comes like this, the force will be higher, and it will go and it will force, and again the force will be like that. The river forces will be different. Okay, due to this different river forces, the rocks at the sides will be taken away, it will be deposited in the other places. So we can see so many, it is not only one, you can see that so many things may happen. So lower course. So the one is the erosion will happen. Due to this, what happens now? The river is coming here now. Okay. So what will happen? It will have a very big impact. So there will be erosion will happen. So there will be water will be there, and it will erosion particles will be deposited. The erosion particles here, it will be deposited here. Deposition will take place. Again it will be going now. Here the erosion will take place. Here the deposition. So deposition and erosion, alternate layer it will be formed. That is the formation of this meanders. Okay. So the next one you can see even the meanders, the convex bank, as I told you now, the velocity differs for the convex bank and the concave bank. That is why these meanders are different, that it forms this route. Okay. So the next one we will be seeing about the oxbow lakes. So how this oxbow lakes, it is little bit different from the meanders. Actually it is forming like a loop layers, right? So the meanders will be having not a complete loop, it will have a gap in between, but here there will be even a small connection here, oxbow, the surrounding, it is called as a oxbow lakes, right? Okay, so you can see some examples, that is a pictorial, that is a satellite images you can see about the oxbow lake. Next we will see about the alluvial fangs and cones. So it is mainly the lowlands from the hill slopes, and it will form the alluvial, that is slopes. Okay, you can see this, it comes here and here the layer it is forming. This is the alluvial. Alluvial, it is mainly, I told you, alluvial soils we are finding in the Indo-Gangetic plains, right? In the river of Indus, Ganges, right, we are finding. So it is a clear thing, right? It forms and in the bottom of the hills or bottom, because all river starts from the hilly regions, comes to the bottom and it forms this black color, which is the most of the alluvial particles are formed. Okay, the flood plains. Okay, so nothing but it is due to the flooding of the river. What happens now? The soil particles is taken and it will be deposited, and sometimes the course of the river itself will change. That we call it as the flood plains. Okay, the next one, it is the natural leaves. Natural leaves are nothing but you can see now in irrigation now, if I am going for a one layer of rock, then I have a bundle-like structure, earth, right? Then I will have another layer of crops. One crops, another crops, in between I have a leaf, we call it as a leaves, right? So like that, the formation of leaves will be there automatically due to the water flow, right? The stream flow or the river flow, we have leaves like this, so that we call it as the natural leaves. The deltas, what is a delta? I told you from the head is the starting point from the mountain where the river started, and the ocean or the sea is the last point. It is called as the mouth where the river ends, right? So before that is entering into the sea or the ocean, the rivers will, all the streams, all the rivers, right? It will, if it is coming like this here it will form a delta, then it will enter into the sea or ocean, right? So this is part we call it as, okay. So all the things are, rivers are going and it films and it will enter into the sea. So this deltic regions will have an alluvial soil. Mostly it will have an alluvial soil. Almost it is having the weathering action, and this rocks and that is the soil particles that is weathered, it will be again taken into the sea or ocean and it will be deposited there. Due to the organism that is reacting, it will have a different properties. That is the main thing. And this is the deltas I have already told you some before. And the next one, I'll tell you why you want to study the river engineering. The main thing is that the rivers present many practical problems to civil engineering, such as follows. Dams, right? So if I am going to construct a dam such that I cannot construct. Here you can see it is a Metu dam, which is the Asia's biggest masonry dam, right? Okay, so you can see the biggest dam here. How much water is flowing here? You cannot predict the force of water. So that much amount of water has to be stored in the upstream. That much of river will bring the soil particles, eroded particles, everything there. So we have to take all the forces into account when I am going in for storing the water in a dam. The next one, the hydroelectric power plants. Okay, all of us know the hydroelectric power plant. Here it is one of the Andhra hydroelectric power plant project only I have shown here, where the water is stored and from the pressure that is stored there, electricity is produced, right? So I have to know about what is the river, how it is the properties of the river, how it is flowing, which is the upper part, which is the lower part, which is the direction of the flow, I should know. The next one, it is the construction of bridges, right? So all of you know what is a bridge, okay? So that okay, we can see the bridges, that is we can see here, right? Okay, for the construction of the bridges, the flow of water, the force of water, how much piers it has to be there, what is the that is the width of water that can be allowed, everything will depends upon the water depth, water properties and the river properties. And the regulation of the river channels is another thing which is very important when you go for a flood control and the navigation. And that is the deposit, the river deposit is very important source by which so many years the rivers are flowing from the mountains to the sea. It passes through the bridges, dams, river, that is cities, places, villages, everything, and it at last reaches the sea. Now, so today's class what we have seen is the different types of soil available in India, and then we saw about the runoff or the river engineering, by which the river, how it is flowing and what are the formation of the different types, the topographical, geographical features due to the river formation. Okay, next class we will see about the glaciers. Okay.